one time a gunshot whizzed by my head. That was wild. I don't know how that
Oh,
happened. It's a
oh.
straight bullet. But other than that, dude, it's been great. You know what I mean? Just don't run in those areas and you're fine.
What a sales pitch for Nashville right there. How is Michigan? So,
It's awesome, dude. We're just right on the right on Lake Huron right now. So it's beautiful out. There's absolutely nobody here, dude. It is like a giant ghost town from the 70s. It's epic.
oh, that is perfect. So
Yeah.
how are you going to enjoy that?
Dude, a lot of going on some runs and going on to the beach, dude. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. And you say this is only the second 2 days of the whole tour that you get off?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we might have one off day in about like 2 weeks. So it's like 39 days.
Oh man,
So we got shows and traveling and everything like that. But these are the only 2 days that we're actually like doing nothing, which is
is
great.
it a good thing for you, or like, oh, what the hell am I supposed to do now? What do I do with my
Oh yeah, no,
time?
exactly. Yeah, I definitely have like I'm not good at just sitting still, so I'm learning, you know. It's only 2 days though, so that's good.
So where are you going to run at?
Uh just kind of wherever. I just ran up the kind of beach run thing that was like up like this 2 lane highway thing and
Hmm,
did that, man. It was fun.
nice. Do you listen to your own music when you run, or
Not really. I'm kind of sick of my music most of the time. I play it so much.
but when's the last time you were in Phoenix again?
I was in Phoenix. Man, probably not since maybe Thanksgiving last year, or Christmas or something like that to visit my family. But we're playing a show there. We start our headline tour 2 days after we finish this tour that we're opening for Dorothy, and we just got word it just sold out today, so we're stoked about that. So
Did you do camel when you were out here? Did you ever do Camelback? You ever hike?
yeah, totally. Yeah, Camelback and I like Tom's Thumb a lot. I used to do that a lot with my mom. Um, we do that, and I got there's a rattlesnake that tried like right at the top too, so I'd have been screwed. And there's like a rattlesnake I like ran over and it lunged at me and grazed my foot. Like it was on Thanksgiving actually, so
Oh.
it was something.
So are you afraid of snakes or scorpions or things like that since you're out here?
Not too much. I mean, I think I got used to seeing it a little bit, you know. So definitely was a little freaked out by them, but now I'm kind of just like, hey, just watch your distance, you'll be good, you know.
Like I've been out here 3 years. I've not done Camelback yet, just because I know they say there's snakes up there. And
Oh, really?
I didn't see a snake. 'Cause there's a place out in Scottsdale here I go to. It's called Lost Dog Trail.
Okay.
So I usually go there, go running all the time. Never saw a snake. The one coming back, I think it was maybe the last 2 or 3 times I went up there. I'm walking back, and one of the scouts were there. Say, "How's your hike?" I'm like, "Damn, I didn't see a snake again." So he starts teaching me now about snakes. Are you really interested? You shouldn't go really close to him or anything. And I'm like, okay, okay. And I turn around, and there he was, like right in front of the entrance. This little, not little, big snake, just taking his time going by. And I'm like, oh damn, there he is.
Yeah,
And ever
there
since
you
then, and
go.
I'm like a little tourist taking pictures of it, and because he was far away. But ever since then, I'm not as much afraid now. So now I'm like dying to go to Camelback.
There you go. You got to do it. It's a beautiful, beautiful trail.
So have you switched? Like, you used to do a lot of hiking. You do a lot of outdoor stuff.
I try to as much as I can. I mean, I think for the most part, I'm like, I mean, there's not like that much to do in Tennessee because that's where I live now. Is like hiking wise, you gotta, or at least in Nashville, you gotta go out quite a bit to kind of hit those mountains and stuff. But I try to just get outside as much as possible because I'm in the studio or I'm touring or everything that doesn't have to do with sunlight. So I get a little pale. So I try to get outside a little bit, you know.
Did you do hunting? Did you do hunting when you were in Arizona?
I tried to. I mean, a lot of it was the unconventional hunting where when I was in fifth grade, I got arrested with the same dude that I broke my arm with. Um, we got the full cuffs and everything because we were hunting in our neighborhood, which I lived in the middle of the desert, so it wasn't like there was anyone around. But I didn't know you had to have a license or that you shouldn't be doing that when you're 10 by yourself. So I did a little bit of quail hunting and stuff like that, but there's not a whole lot of stuff that you can shoot. You
Oh,
know,
where'd you
everything's pretty dead.
where'd you live at?
I lived kind of by Cave Creek, if you know where that is.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like in between Scottsdale and Cave Creek.
that's not too far.
Yeah,
So what do you miss about Arizona? Like,
dude. I mean, I think the weather and a lot of my friends still live back there. I love Arizona. It's just more like if I was going to try to do it in music, I wanted to be surrounded by the best of the best, which I feel like is in either like Nashville or LA or New York. But for me, just Nashville was a little bit more my speed. So, yeah, no, I do love it though. Do love
how long have you
Arizona.
been out there? When did you make the trek?
I moved 1 month before COVID hit, so I was a sophomore at Arizona State, and then I ended up just I was like, man, I think this thing is gonna probably shut down schools. Like I just had a long shot thought, and it ended up happening, and so I moved and finished up my degree online. Since everything got moved online, so I was 19 when I moved.
Oh, what's your degree in?
It's business entrepreneurship with a focus in finance.
How is that working out as a musician?
Dude, actually, it's very beneficial. I feel like just understanding, especially because, there's so many different ways that you can kind of get screwed over as an artist or a songwriter or producer in music, just having that kind of understanding of like, contracts and law and different stuff like that. That I didn't really learn that in school, but that was more just like reading and trying to like learn contracts and understand the language of that stuff. And I think it's definitely been super beneficial having a business background because I'm the one having to, you know, figure out how to fund everything and make it work. You know what I mean? So,
As an independent artist, has that helped you as far as promoting yourself, especially through social
yeah,
media and all that, and just hey, getting the boost? And what do you have, about 20 million followers, stuff like that?
uh, not quite that. I think it's like I think across all platforms, maybe a couple million or something like that. But it's definitely like something I wasn't good at initially. Like I'm not. I think I had barely had an Instagram account when I moved to Nashville. I think I had maybe like 400 followers or something like that. And then just knowing, hey, the only way to make things work is try to get the music out in front of people and uh, try to put stuff out that's relatable that can, help people with going through different stuff or just breakups or hard times or whatever it is like that. So it definitely was benefiting. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm talking to you right now is because of social media. So,
Mm.
you know.
Well, how much part of your day is built on music by itself, and how much the rest of it is built on, say, social media and all the other outside stuff as an independent artist?
Yeah. I mean, I think most of my day is probably around social media, which is crazy because I would have never guessed that when I first kind of started doing music. And but yeah, I'd say most of it is social media and trying to just capture that and trying to let people into my life and what I'm doing and maybe the stuff that I'm going through or the music or whatever that kind of stuff is. So definitely a lot of social media, I'd say.
Like, how many hours do you think you're doing daily?
Um, I don't know daily, but I know like obviously I post every single day. I try to do like kind of batch up content and stuff, especially when I'm on the road. It's hard to make time because we're traveling or, sound checking or playing shows and stuff, but definitely quite a few hours a week. That's for sure. Probably 10 to 20, there maybe 30 total on social media, I would say. So it's most of my day, I'd say.
Now, this is a real selfish question I'm going to ask you, but as a singer, as independent, again, I said indie artist three times already, but when you're doing that, are you, can you be a perfectionist? Do you have time to be a perfectionist to make sure the song obviously has to be perfect, but the videos all have to be perfect, all the clips have to be perfect, or do you just have to, at your point, doing it all yourself? Do you have to, I guess, prioritize what's got to be number one and everything else has to be just get it out there and adequate? Is there a formula for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it all starts with the song. It's like you can't really, if the song sucks, doesn't matter how good the video is, you know what I mean? But I think what I've learned is like if you just try to zone in and try to create like a concept or an angle of how to, maybe just show people like the song that's not just like, hey, listen to my song. Hey, listen to my song. If you try to like, you know, do it emotionally where it's like, hey, what would I want someone to think about before they hear this song? And I think taking that angle instead of just being all promotional. Because I know for me, it's like I I get annoyed. I wouldn't want to get into an artist or a band if they were just like, "Hey, I have a new song. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. Go listen." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to listen to it. Screw off." But I think, yeah, I think that the order is just get a great song. I produce most of my music, so get in the studio and record everything, and then kind of figure out the next thing. And I put out a song every month, so it goes fast. So it's like write a song you really like. I'll produce it and record it out, and then figure out how to market it, and then on to the next.
How has your career from COVID 2020 to today? How do you think you've progressed, improved, and as an artist? And I was just watching all your
Uh,
videos probably the last 2 days, and I guess I watched the old stuff. I'm like, okay, this is old and raw and cool. And now the new
yeah.
stuff is like, damn, this is really good, some good stuff. I mean,
Hey, thank you.
it's like,
Uh,
how do you see yourself progress? Do you see yourself along the process getting better and better at this?
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think I've gotten a little better at it. I think it's more just getting comfortable with the process of writing songs, and also just kind of cultivating that community in Nashville of such talented songwriters to write with. That can help me tell my story of what I want to say in the best way possible. Um, and Yeah, I mean, it's I when I moved to Nashville, I was working random jobs. I was going on the road with different. For different artists and stuff, and selling merch for them, and working restaurants, and finishing my degree at the same time, and trying to meet people, and because I didn't really move to Nashville knowing anyone. I knew one dude who's from Arizona, who's like 5 or 6 years older than me, that had a couch that I could crash on. So I would do that for a while, and then I finally moved there. And um, but I definitely think that my career overall, I'm happy but never satisfied. I'd say, just because I just want to impact as many people as possible.
I mean, is
Have them hear the music.
now, is the struggle fun or is it super stressful? Both.
A little bit of both. I think I have a midlife crisis, or I'm 25, a quarter life crisis, about 2 or 3 times a week. But that's just part of it. I think.
Like, what are some of the things that you got to really stress over? That
Uh,
other people said that Tim McGraws don't have to at this point.
I think just because I have still, like, I've you know booking agent, managers, Shelby PR, and I have a publishing deal with Sony and Electric Feel. So I think it gets a little bit easier as it progresses, because more is taken off your plate. But I still feel like the core of it, of writing the songs, producing the songs, marketing the songs, playing the shows, figuring out how to get there, booking the hotels, doing all that stuff. Like, it still is definitely a lot, but I love it, so I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Where do you get the time, or where do you find the time to get to the gym, to get to a workout in, and just keep your physical and mental health all in check
Yeah,
for the long grind?
I think for the most part, I think training for what I do. So, like, naturally, I'd love to be way bigger, have a lot more muscle, do all that kind of stuff, because that's where my body, like, naturally wants to go. Like, if I just hit the gym and do anabolic workouts, and I'm just hitting um, weights, and doing compound movements and stuff, I'll get muscle. But then when I go play a show, it's harder for me to play a show because I am, like, heavier. I can't run around as much. Um, but I think really just trying to make it work. So a lot of times I'm working out at, like, 11 o'clock or midnight, and just getting it in, or going on a late night run or whatever it is, like that. So just trying to fit it around the schedule, because I think if I put exercise too much at the forefront, it'll take away some of the stuff that I have to do for my career with music.
So how often do you think you get to the gym or get a workout in? Is it?
I'd say like 6 days a week, probably. I probably take one day off or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty good. I thought the way you sounded is like once a week, or you struggle to get there. That's totally different.
Yeah, no, totally.
What's like a midnight run like?
It's the
Is that
best.
refreshing? Is it just like, damn, the day's over, I can just enjoy this? Or
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I think also just, there's hardly anyone out because everyone's asleep for the most part, you know what I mean, outside. And doing that, I've had a couple of times, like, where I'd run, when I first moved to Nashville, I'd run through the wrong neighborhood. And there's one time I got chased by two dudes in a car, and they were running after me, and I had to jump over some fences and stuff, and then run back to my house and stuff. So I've had a couple of freaky scares like that. One time a gunshot whizzed by my head. That was wild. I don't know how that
Whoa.
happened. It's a
Whoa.
straight bullet. But other than that, dude, it's been great. You know what I mean? Just don't run in those areas and you're fine.
What a sales pitch for Nashville right there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, can you write a song about that, or is there?
I don't know how many people would relate to it, but I could try.
So, where do you get your inspiration from for writing songs?
Um, I think my inspiration with writing songs is just all about like stuff I've gone through. I haven't had the best track record of dating, so that's always a good inspiration to pull from. I think also like I've had my different kind of seasons of dealing with anxiety or depression or stuff like that. Of stuff goes on in life and just kind of hits you sideways, and um, just writing about that stuff because I think a lot of people go through that, and I feel like it's like it's an honor to have a platform to where people are listening to what I have to say. And I think if I don't use that platform for good, or just letting people know that you know people go through these things. You're not the only one dealing with anxiety or depression or a bad breakup or anything like that. I think that that's the coolest thing about what I get to do is put out those songs, get the messages online, DMs and comments and stuff like that. And then also at shows, when people come up to the merch after the show and tell me their story about, hey, I was listening to this, you know, this song when I was at my lowest, and like you helped me get through it. And I didn't decide to do anything like, God forbid, take your life or do something like that. Like it was, yeah, I've so many people that have said that to me, and it's almost hard to comprehend, but I just give them a big old hug. You know what I mean? I don't even know what to say other than like, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're at this concert and that you didn't decide to do something like that. So I think just trying to write stuff that people relate to that I've gone through is what I pull from. That's a very long-winded answer, but there's my answer.
Perfect. Well, how easy is it to write a song like that? Just based on your experience, based on like don't say emotions, mental health, a little
Yeah.
bit of depression. How easy is just to let it all out, as opposed to
I
writing
mean,
something about a shooting or something?
yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think it's a style of therapy for me. I've never been able to, I think therapy is an amazing thing, people that want to do it, but for me, it's hard for me to do therapy. My version of therapy is writing music. So if it's something really personal to me, I got to make sure that if I'm writing a song, especially if I'm in like a writing session with other people, that I'm close enough to them where I can be vulnerable about my story and what I want to say. And then sometimes it's like, hey, I need to just write this verse or this chorus of this song just by myself, because I need to be able to let all the emotions out. If I need to, you know, cry or whatever. I don't want to be crying around people, you know what I mean? That's just me, but like, just let that out so I can get the purest thing out there. And that's always shown to be the most relatable, is when you do open yourself up and be vulnerable.
How many songs have you had that you really had to break down a little bit in order to just get it all out?
I think a couple for sure. I think there's a song called Cobain that I put out with a buddy of mine, Jay Webb, and um, we had actually written the song over Zoom because we hadn't met each other yet. Now we're like, he's one of my best friends. He moved to Nashville now, but that verse that's in that song that really blew up on TikTok and Instagram, getting millions of views and stuff like that, was a song that was 4 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I just wanted to write this thing that was on my mind about that. And then a couple of other songs too, I'd say, but for the most part, I'm able to do it. I have 4 or 5 really good buddies of mine that I write with, and we know each other so well to where it doesn't feel weird if I'm getting emotional about something.
What the one question I want to ask, what type of singer are you? What kind of musician are you? Like, are you I know you work for Jay Webb, who's a country singer, but I can
Yep.
listen to you on Octane probably when I go work out. So
Yeah.
where do you fall into?
I would say just like country rock. I think I come from growing up in Arizona. There's a lot of things that people would consider like super country that I did. Whether that be just going out to the desert and blowing stuff up and shooting dynamite and seeing it explode, or going hunting, or and then on the rock side of stuff, just like there's something about the rawness of the energy that I love as well. So I think I have both in my music where, if you're a country listener, it's a story. All my songs are stories, and so you could relate to it in that way. Or if you're a rock guy, you can just turn it up loud, and we have songs for that too. So I think it's country music for rock people and rock music for country people.
I do want to backtrack a little bit as far as working out. When you said earlier that if you're just doing strictly weights, it's a little more difficult, like you said, to perform on stage for X amount of time. Like what do you do? What works best for you? Well, first off, how do you feel? Like how when you're on stage? How can you tell when you're working out, running a lot, good cardio shape, as opposed to just hitting the weights?
Oh yeah,
Talk about a long-winded
yeah.
question. There you go.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, I think that I run, I'm constantly running around, and I try to, I think the biggest compliment I ever get is when we're after the show, and maybe someone who came to the show is asking one of the guys in my band is like, "How much cocaine does Eddie do, man? He's running around." I'm like, "I don't do cocaine." So, I think that like trying to have that kind of energy and lay it all out, it's like a performance to me. Having the sports background is like leaving it all out on the field. And the field for me now is the stage. So I think making sure that, cardio wise, I'm always good to go because I will be out of breath. I'm not going to sing as well. I'm going to strain myself. But I definitely can tell if there's one point where I started getting like really happy in life. And for about 4 months, and I got like kind of fat. I was like drinking and partying. And I had a girlfriend that was awesome, and I was eating a bunch of food, and I was having a blast, and I got kind of fat, and I had some shows coming up, and I was like, holy shit, I'm out of shape to do this right now. So I had to kind of dial it in. That was a couple years ago. So, um, yeah, no, I definitely could tell when I'm out of shape.
All right. So what did you do there? Like how much did you gain?
I'm 5'11". I weigh about 160 right now. I was at like 210. So
Whoa,
I was
whoa.
50 pounds heavier, and I could feel it, dude. I didn't look crazy different because I think my body naturally, like, I had a lot more muscle, but also was a little pudgier and stuff like that. But yeah, I just kind of had to taper it back down and kind of dial in my diet, and it's really hard on the road. Luckily, I burn so many calories when I'm playing shows that like I always lose weight on the road, so it's really about eating enough. Um, but it's definitely not a good feeling when you get on stage and you're on song two of 18 and you're dying. That's a terrible feeling.
So what would you do then on stage? I mean, did you have to, I guess, wing it? How did you make it through the entire show without
Um,
gasping?
yeah, I just was I did kind of not run around as much, which feels horrible because I feel like I'm not giving the best show I could. But yeah, I'm stubborn, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna lose weight, and I lost it all pretty much in like 2 or 3 months. So I was just like, all right, let's do it.
Doing what? What did you have to do?
I just kind of I did the carnivore diet for a while. So I was just only eating eggs and meat pretty much for like those 3 months. And then when I kind of got to a place where I was like, all right, I feel better, I was kind of like loosening the reins a little bit because it's not possible to eat like that on the road. Half the time we're eating McDonald's and just trying to get like, go to the grocery store and get a pound of turkey slices. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty rough out here sometimes. So
So you lost 50 pounds in 3 months?
yeah, just about. Yeah, maybe 3, 4 months.
You're so nonchalant about that. That's like pretty like cover story. That's like major news right there. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. I just when I want to do something, I do it, and that was definitely something that was a priority for those couple of months to be like, all right, I gotta get my get my shit right because I want to do this for a long time, and I gotta take care of my body.
Did you have to elevate your workouts in any way? Run
Oh
more,
yeah,
lift more, and
yeah. I was doing like probably about like an hour and a half of lifting, and then I would go for like I'd do about an hour of cardio. So I was hitting it hard, and then I was in a calorie deficit of like I was probably in like a 1,500 calorie deficit a day in order to achieve that.
so what was your calories for your macros for that day? Or where do you think
Uh,
you
I
were
was
at?
I was probably like around like 1,400 for those couple of months, um, which is not a lot at all. So, and then I was also burning like probably, I mean, 2.5 hours of hard working out. So, That's kind of where I
Well,
figured it out, I guess.
did you count your macros at the time? Or did you?
I was loosely. I was just like, I was trying to get a lot of protein, pretty much no carbs at all, and then kind of like mid to low fat, just to kind of keep myself satiated a little bit.
What have you kept from there? Like what? Now that you lost the 50 pounds, what part of that routine have you kept now? Just so you haven't put any more weight on, that you're still top shape,
Yeah,
concert after
I,
concert. What's
I
changed
think
that for the
it's.
go for the permanent?
I think for the permanent, it's like trying to just get as clean as I can eat when I can, and then also at the same time just not beat myself up when when there isn't any other option other than a McDonald's or gas station food or whatever it is. So I think just trying to eat like it's like that 80-20 rule of just being like, all right, 80% of the time I'm going to eat really well, and then that other 20%, if I want some ice cream, like screw it, I'm gonna get some ice cream. I love ice
Wow.
cream,
Do you cook
so
at all? Do you own cooking or?
I try to. I'm kind of getting better at it. My drummer, Jack, he's a great. It kind of our whole like crew works out and eats pretty healthy and stuff. So I get to learn how to cook stuff. We were making chicken thighs and rice and everything like that last night. It was fun. So I'm trying to get better. I only know really how to cook eggs. I can cook eggs well because I watched what is it, the Gordon recipe of like how to cook eggs, or whatever. But try to cook.
Did you do a lot of smoothies or anything like that? Or
Sometimes if I'm like running short on time, I'll make a little protein smoothie. But if I eat too much protein, I get all bloated and shit like that. So but yeah.
totally had that one pegged wrong. I thought you were a blender guy, so totally missed the boat on that one.
Blender guy.
From
That's funny.
well,
That's
how do you,
awesome.
what is your day to day on the road?
Yeah.
Like, what
So day to day for a show day is wake up. Usually we have anywhere between like a 3 to 7 hour drive to the next city. So sometimes we're waking up at 11, and then sometimes we're waking up at like 5. And that's coming from the day before, which we played and got back to the hotel at maybe 1. So a lot of it, not getting a whole lot of sleep for the most part. Just pushing through, and especially like with my voice, I have to make sure I'm on vocal rest because I'm not getting a lot of sleep. Drinking a lot of liquids, a lot of electrolytes, and everything like that. I usually consume about 4 to 5 thousand milligrams of sodium a day just to try to, those element packets I always drink because there's 1,000 of
oh
those. So
yeah.
I'll drink like 3 to 5 of them a day just because I sweat so much on stage. So I do that. We'll drive, we'll sound check, um, and then, get a meal in and play the show and on to
Those
the
aren't
next city.
cheap.
Then
Those aren't cheap either, elements. So you go five a
oh,
day.
no.
That's a box
Yeah.
every 3 days.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get the
Well,
the Costco has like the bigger boxes, so I that
ooh,
they have like the 30 or 60 thing, and it's still like probably $4, $5 a day of just element packets. So, but gotta do it.
damn, that's all your tour expenses right there.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're sleeping in crackhead hotels most of the time.
No follow up to that one, but
There you go.
actually, I do have. Go ahead, tell me what that's like. Is it fun? Is that
Okay,
still
so
like,
yeah, we had I mean we don't try to stay in those hotels. Sometimes it's just like an accident. But we were in Baltimore about a week and a half ago, and we got there. We show up to the hotel at like I think 1 in the morning because we just couldn't get there. We had to go right to the show. We walk in. There was a pimp with an ankle monitor on, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be interesting. So we fell asleep, and then midway through the night, we heard like this dude screaming outside our window, and then about an hour later, we heard him screaming inside the hotel, and he was punching the doors, trying to like break into a door. And that was not a good one. But it sounded like he was like from The Walking Dead. It was like a zombie. It's freaky. But oh well, we're here still.
man, there's some inspiration even more for you got songs right there. You don't even
There
know.
you go. There you go.
Well, back to what I did want to ask. You said you're 5'11". What sports did you play in high school?
So I played lacrosse and I played basketball, and I played football till I was
What a
a
transition! What a
freshman.
transition that was. I'm just thinking to myself.
Yeah, yeah,
From
no, totally.
from
But yeah.
From pimps and gunshots to hey, like what high school did you play?
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I played lacrosse. I was long stick midi, and then I was point guard for basketball. But I stopped playing sports my junior year because I'd broken my arm wrestling my buddy because I was trying to impress a girl at a party. Snapped it, and then was like, all right, I gotta pick music or sports, and I picked music. So
So when did you start playing music?
I started playing. So my first instrument was drums. I think I was like about 5 or 6 when I started playing it, and then my parents quickly realized that was the worst instrument to give their kid because it was so damn loud. And then I started playing guitar when I was like 9 or 10. Started singing a little bit after that, and then I would uh, I would play a lot of the shows in like the Southwest, and then went down to Mexico and Rocky Point, and kind of got in with the little bit older kind of scene because there's not a crazy big music scene in Arizona. There's a lot of those bands from like the '90s, like the Gin Blossoms and Roger Klein, their Freshmen, and like those kind of bands kind of took me under their wing and kind of showed me the ropes a lot. And then Josh Kennedy from the Black Moods, that they were a big inspiration for me and still some of my closest friends. And but he was like, dude, you got to move to Nashville if you're gonna do it. So then I moved.
Oh, I heard that. The Gym Blossoms are
Yeah,
from out here? I didn't know that.
yeah, they're from Tempe.
I've never seen the Black Moods either. I think they're playing at Talking Stick
Yep,
this
same day we're
Sunday.
playing actually, which
Oh,
sucks.
is it really? Oh, no way.
Yeah, well, they're playing a Friday and a Saturday at Talking Stick, but we're playing Friday at Rock Bar. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so what was it? I was going to ask, was that the only time you had a crossroads between music and sports was when you broke your arm, or was there ever?
yeah. I was playing. I mean, I was playing shows and doing music quite a bit before then. Pretty much since like sixth or seventh grade is when I started my first like band, and we started playing shows and stuff like that. Doing battle of the bands and stuff like that, and the crossroads that made me pick was that when I did break my arm, but there was a battle of the bands competition that I was in called Alice Cooper's Proofs in the Pudding. So Alice Cooper was the one who was doing it, and there was like 75 solo artists and bands that were competing in it. And that year, we ended up winning it, and I had a broken arm for the last like 3 rounds of it. Um, and so my dad and I figured out how to basically get it to where I could still play guitar with a broken arm because I split it in two right here. And so we had this little contraption that would sit the guitar up, and I'd walk up to the guitar and play as I sang. And it was really funny.
Total
So
Devo looking.
yeah, totally,
Oh
totally.
wow, that's funny. But I assume you lost the arm wrestling match.
I did lose it, unfortunately. It snapped. So
Well, how hard was it though? I mean, was it hard to play the guitar like that, or was it just eventually you just got into it and it just really worked?
yeah, I mean, I think it. Luckily, I mean, I think it took like 4 months for my arm to fully heal because it was so broken. It was like literally was popping out of my skin when I broke it. It was gross, and I didn't get the girl I was trying to impress. Obviously, she thought it was gross. But yeah, it was kind of tough. But I just think it's the same thing with like trying to exercise or me wanting to lose weight to look a certain way and feel a certain way on stage. And like I think if I'm very stubborn in that way of just like, all right, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna figure it out. So
Well, how big of a boost, ego-wise, career-wise, was winning that, and I guess getting to play with Alice Cooper?
yeah, I mean, I think it was amazing just to have somebody that was. I mean, he's obviously like such an icon in music worldwide and stuff like that, and being able to meet him and talk to him quite a few different times throughout that process, it was definitely an inspiration. I don't think it did. Um, I think when it comes to like just confidence that I could do it, I think was a big boost in my confidence of being like, all right, I think I have a shot at trying to do music. But I do think it was like moving to Nashville and putting out music and having people stream it and playing shows and people show up and scream the words and stuff like that. I think that was the big turning point.
What kind of music were you playing then?
I was doing pretty much just rock music.
Mhm. When did it take a turn for like songs like Overdose and that type of
Yeah,
darker stuff? When did that make the turn? When did that?
my first, there's a manager. The one person that I knew in the music industry was my dad's buddy. who managed a group called Run the Jewels. They're like a rap duo out in New York. And I remember him telling me, uh, "You got to get your heart broken." And I was like, "I already did, man. I already had girlfriends, you know what I mean? But I'd never had a real heartbreak, like the one where you can't get out of bed, that kind of thing." So, yeah, it was my first, like, or I guess my second real girlfriend. We broke up, and that wrecked me. So I wrote those kind of songs. It wasn't about her necessarily, but it was about the emotion that, I just wanted to write something that was so extremely raw and that I felt. So that's where that kind of stuff came in. And it is also like finding out like music was not all about just happy songs. Like there's more to say than just like I'm having a great day. That's cool. I love writing songs that are fun, but it's also like I was saying before, writing songs that are real and emotional and show the darker side of the reality of life.
Well, has anyone given you like advice, career advice, life advice, like Alice, like Jim Blossoms, Black Moods? Any of these guys say, "Hey, here's what you got to
Yeah,
do"?
I
What's
mean, I think those guys were very pivotal in that. I think Roger Klein, the Peacemakers, which was like the Refreshments, his band before that, they were like in that same scene of the Jim Blossoms and everything. He took me on like my first kind of tour, and I got to open up acoustic for him when I think I was 18. It was right before I moved to Nashville, and I got to just experience what it was like to be in a tour bus, and I think it was 9 shows, and a lot of that was like how to deal with the road, and because there's a lot of loneliness that comes with, even though like I'm so fortunate, like my band and my tour manager and the guys that are out here with me are like some of my closest friends, so it does feel awesome, but it also is at the same time you're missing out on a lot of stuff. Like this tour, I'm missing one of my best friends weddings, and um missing out on different kind of life things, to where you come back after a month and a half back to Nashville and you're like, all right, well, it's a different season. It's fall now. It's not summer. I missed out on everything that all my friends were doing, and people I care about. So I think that the stuff that I learned from him, especially, was like dealing with that and knowing that, this is just part of it. And it's also just cool to, I mean, meeting new people and seeing new places is awesome. But yeah, sorry, that didn't really answer the question, but I hope it kind of did.
have you written a song based on that in any way, or
Yeah, I there's a song that comes out. So my EP comes out this Friday, and then I have another song that's coming out, and the song after that, because I release a song every month, is kind of about that. It's called Off the Road, and it's about just kind of like uh, getting going through a breakup, going through a hard time, and then just getting on the road and just letting the road take your soul. You know what I mean? Not in like a way, but just let it be free. You know what I mean? So that kind of feeling.
and what was I gonna say? Dorothy, you're touring with Dorothy, who's
Yep.
a notorious gym rat. Have you worked out with her yet, or?
I haven't worked out with her. It's hard because a lot of the shows are back to back to back to back to back. Because it's a rock tour, so we're
Mhm.
playing. We have 2 shows. We have a show Tuesday, Wednesday this week, and then we have a travel day, and then we have a show, Friday, Saturday, and then another travel day, and then Monday, Tuesday. So it's like you don't get a whole lot of time to kind of hang with. It's like different camps, whether it be my camp of guys or her camp. We
Right.
just are kind of all doing our own thing, but then we get to the show, we hang out, have fun, and then kind of do the same thing.
Well, with that, when you're on the road and all that loneliness, with all that loneliness that you just talked about before, like how do you get to work? Do you get a workout in? I mean, just to clear your head a little bit. Does that help at all?
Totally. Yeah, no, I think that's like with these off days, it was nice. We got to do laundry, because we were re-wearing clothes that were old, and you spray cologne on them to try to make them smell good and stuff. But we get to do laundry, get to do some workouts, go for a walk, just listen to like a podcast, like anything that just kind of makes you feel centered a little bit. I think is a big, big thing. And working out is definitely a forefront of that, bringing you back to being like, all right, I can think clearly again.
Do you need a washing machine when you go to Scottsdale?
Oh, I should be all right. We should be good.
One is I probably forgot earlier. What kind of workout? When you do work out, when you do feel your best on stage, what's like the one exercise, the one move, the one routine that you've got to stick with? That's like number one for you.
Yeah, I think stretching and doing there's this thing I saw on TikTok about maybe 5 or 6 months ago, which is like this kind of ancient Japanese kind of like stretching routine thing. It's really weird, but it's like these swinging arms, and you go like all the way back and all the way down, all the way back, and then you do like trunk twists, and then like dead arms, and then different kind of like knee up things that just kind of like loosens you up. So that's something I do every day in the morning and at nighttime if I don't get to do a workout that day. But I mean, my shows are so uh, tiring that I basically get to do like a great cardio session every day when I play a show. So,
How tiring is that? That's like the way you said that is like I guess an underappreciated thing about performing. That it is calorie burning, it is exhausting. Like how exhausted are you when you're done? Like what do you
um, I would say, I mean, it's such a high. So I don't really feel it. I think it's after like, if you have six shows in 8 days, which is like our next kind of chunk of shows. So like I think by show 5 and 6, I'm definitely feeling it. The guys are feeling it. It's a lot of, you know, compact on your knees and your ankles, and holding a, you know, 15-pound guitar around one side of your shoulder and feeling like the knot in your shoulder, kind of starting to happen and stuff like that. But I definitely think I mean I put a Fitbit on, so basically per hour of a show I'm basically burning about 800 calories is what it said. So it's definitely a lot of um, a lot of cardio, and my heart rate is like about like 170 BPM the whole time, so it's high, you know.
and do you get how do you get any rest afterward?
Yeah, we try to get a couple hours of sleep and drink a lot of energy drinks and do that. So, but it's just about kind of taking the moments of quiet, when you're driving or going to the next city, and just kind of resting uh, as much as you can.
The Element and Red Bull diet.
Boom, there you go.
And when does Tumbleweeds and Nicotine come out?
It comes out this Friday,
Oh,
so we're counting down the days. We got, yeah, 3 new songs on the EP. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's cool because it's kind of like the culmination of the two different sides of, rock that I love, and also country. And you get a little bit of that blend of country and rock in each song, some a little bit more country, some a little bit more rock. And I'm really excited for that to come out.
is Sleep Alone on that one or
It's not that one was the single before it came out, or that Tumbleweeds and Nicotine EP comes out.
yeah, I know like the first couple lines to that. So
Let's go. Yeah,
I'm
dude.
getting little by little, I'm getting all the lyrics down. So by
Let's
October,
go. Hell
oh man,
yeah, we'll be
Eddie,
playing that one for sure.